Why are some people claiming asylum still waiting for their claims to be looked at after years?
I think this is a fantastic question. It really sort of, I think, highlights the systemic problem and under-resourcing of the Home Office. So for many, many years, there's been a backlog of cases slowly building up. And then, every now and then the Home Office, they decide to maybe focus on working towards, reducing part of a backlog. And then, they may manage to do that, but whilst they're doing that, another backlog appears in another part of the system. So up until last year, what the Home Office position was that when somebody claimed asylum, they would consider the case and look to see whether they thought it was a straightforward case or a more complex case. And they decided that anything that was straightforward, they would try to make a decision within 6 months. And anything that was more complex, they would make a decision at a later date, but there was no kind of service standard or time frame allocated to those. The Home Office ditched that last year, and they have yet to agree to a new service standard. But what they said in the interim is that they will focus now on the more complex cases. So a complex case could be a case that involves a family unit or a member, an individual or family unit that's had instances of trauma, torture, medical evidence that might be required to help the case. So there's been this kind of like chopping and changing, the Home Office focusing at one point on easy cases, and the backlog was building of the more complex cases. Now they're saying they're focusing on the complex cases, but of course the backlog might be building on the easy cases. Ultimately, the Home Office need to be adequately resourced so that they can deal with all incoming cases within what we would say an appropriate time frame. And we think that would roughly be around kind of 6 months, which is why we've got the lift the ban call to action around if you haven't had a decision within 6 months, you should be allowed the right to work, because we think that allows enough time for all the evidence to be gathered and for the Home Office to consider all of that evidence before making a decision.